Yeah, sure. I'll record it. Why not? So,
Cool.
yeah, we'll record it. Okay, great. I will share this now. Okay, can you guys see this? Okay. Good. Yeah. So like I said, this is for other students in technology. If you somehow found your way in here and you're like, what is this? Basically, it's a tech mentorship program for students in high school. So if you are not in high school, maybe you know someone in high school, but I'm assuming most of the other people on this call who I don't know are in high school. And so with that, I will introduce our guest speaker, Serene, who is the CEO of Pixel Tree and longtime supporter of our one-year program. And so with that, I will give the floor, 2 years, yes, 2 years now, I guess. But yeah, with that, I will give the floor to Serene for some opening remarks.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year. I was looking, as I was preparing for the talk, I looked back on the notes from last year, and you know, Remiza came out of your program, and Aaliyah, and they were really awesome interns. They came to work with us in the summer. We're really happy to have them, and we're seeing them more and more active in the community. So I really believe in your program, and I'm happy to be here. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Serene, and I am the owner of Pixel Tree. So we're a software consulting agency, and we help entrepreneurs build and scale their tech. So basically, we help people make their ideas come to life. And one of our values is what we call recursive mentorship, which I talk about all the time. So we want people to mentor people who can go out and mentor other people. So I'm really excited that Jack's here with you, because Jack came to us back in, I think, 2020, 2021, something like that. And he was a university summer student at Pixel Tree, and so it's been a real privilege watching him as he's gone out to mentor others, just as we did with him. I always struggle preparing talks and presentations. It doesn't matter how many I do. I always continue to feel so inadequate. And I'm always worried that my grammar won't be perfect. If I have slides, but they're just not going to look very good. And what if I talk too much or too little? And I never know what I'm going to wear. And heaven forbid I cry in front of everybody. That's barely happened. And one time, it was the day before a presentation I had to make to a fairly important group. And it was really important to me that I made an impact to that group. But it was hard for me to see how I, as a single mother and a small business owner, was ever going to make any kind of major impact in the world. And I called up Dan actually at that time, and I asked him, how can I inspire others when some days I struggle so hard to just find inspiration for myself? And he said to me, just tell your story, Serene. Your story is enough. And so I'm going to tell you a story. So this Friday, I'll be hosting the YYC Hack City Hackathon. For those people who haven't heard about it yet, we'll be hosting over 150 participants this year for an entire weekend to build software that helps to solve the challenge problems provided. It's the biggest event for technical talent that we have in Calgary. This round, it's sponsored by the City of Calgary, Calgary Economic Development, and Prairies Can, Bow Valley College, and SAIT. The mayor's coming out, and I have to host it. So, you know, no pressure. But about a month ago, I went to the doctor with excruciating pain in my ankle. An x-ray later, my suspicions were confirmed. The titanium stent in my ankle had moved, and the doctor said that they would need to operate on it right away. And he said I was going to have to be off my feet for about a month. And so while I'm not that good at math, I realized that I was going to be, at the very least, in a walking cast for this event. I had already been worrying so much about what I was going to say and what I was going to wear. Now I had to worry about whether I was going to even be able to stand at all. If you've been to platform, the stairs are a little bit treacherous at the best of times. Now I can't even figure out how I'm going to get up those stairs. And I was really stressed out about it. I asked somebody on my team. So I was talking to people on my team, and someone asked me, what about being in a cast made me feel so insecure? And that question was really, really hard. It really challenged me to think about what my picture of a leader looked like and how much I worried that I wasn't living up to that picture. I was trying to figure out how I would, like, what I could wear to hide my caste, but that's not really my style. We're always talking about representation in leadership roles and how it's important for young girls to see strong women at the helm, to be able to visualize themselves in that position. But I also think it's important for leaders to show representation for imperfection, vulnerability, and insecurity, because those are all feelings that we continue to struggle with. Because we are imperfect, and yet it's okay, because we still have so much to give. And so I hope that today and on Friday, I can show you that strength and insecurity are not mutually exclusive. And hopefully I can be an example to show you that it's okay to not have everything figured out. And I hope that I can find the courage to stand on stage with the mayor on Friday, even though I won't be able to wear my favorite high heels. And so thank you, Jack, for allowing me to be a part of your journey. I appreciate being here every single time you invite me. And I'm really excited to see what your students come up with this year. You guys are going to learn a ton under Jack. He's really awesome. He's going to do great things one day. And as always, let me know if there's anything else I can do to help.
Great. Thanks so much for that, Serene. So excellent. It's always so nice hearing you speak, because I'm always like, oh, wow, like Serene, you always have so much going on in your life and you continue to really be involved. So that's awesome. And continuing on this theme of storytelling, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about me, but also there is a fun fact for those of you who have been watching The Last of Us, because everyone from Alberta is like obsessed with The Last of Us, and like with good reason. But one of the photos in this slide deck is actually from a scene in The Last of Us, or not like a scene, but like from a place that they shot The Last of Us. So you can try and find that in this presentation. And if you just joined us, welcome. We are just giving a little bit of background on like ASIT, and for those who might be interested. So a little bit about me. I was born in Calgary, where I think probably many of the people on this call are from. And I was always like fascinated by technology's capacity to do work. So when I was little, I remember, we had a computer that looked like this, but it was a bit newer than this, and it had these like big vents at the back, and I would like stick pencils into the vents and like pretend it was a robot, and play with it. But what really made me interested in computers was not the fact that I thought my like desktop was a robot, but the fact that it made people's lives so much easier. For me, I remember like making little, Mother's Day cards with like 2000s CD software on it. For my parents, I remember my dad doing all types of like Excel work on it. And I was really curious about like how this technology worked, because I just didn't really understand what was going on. And I was curious. But the issue was that none of my schools offered tech courses. There was in my elementary school a computer club, which I did join, but it ended up being that computer club was all about like cleaning the keyboards on like those like really nice white Mac keyboards. When you have a bunch of like elementary kids using them, they get really dirty. So our job as computer club was to like go through and like polish them with hand sanitizer wipes. And so I didn't really have a ton of opportunities to learn about tech. And this resulted in me usually going in this like kind of cycle of being really motivated to learn something about technology, trying to then learn it, Googling tutorials, not really knowing where to go. None of my parents were in tech. None of their friends were really in tech. And so I was trying to figure that out. and I would eventually like get to a problem that I couldn't solve, or that I didn't know where to go to solve it or how to solve it. And then I would eventually get demotivated and give up until I tried again. And so this was like a really frustrating thing because I really wanted to learn. I tried a few different things. I took like a night course at SAIT when I was like in high school, and that was good, but I wasn't really sure where to go from there. But eventually I got to finishing grade 12, and I decided to go to university. And I go to Western University, which is in London, Ontario, which is about like 2 hours south of Toronto, where I'm doing software engineering and a business degree. And when I showed up, I went to the clubs fair because I thought I wanted to like see what clubs were around. And I saw someone from my junior high in Calgary, and I went up to them and was like, oh, like, what's this club? And it ended up being a software club. And it turns out that a lot of the exec team was actually from Calgary. And so I was like, oh, like, I'm from Calgary. These people are from Calgary. At Western, probably over 80% of the population's from Toronto. So I was like, this seems cool. I'm kind of interested in tech. I'll join the club. And so I joined the club. And through that first year, we made a little app for our friends to use to track their meal plan balance in residence. Because if you're like me, you have like issues with going to res for the first time because it seems like it's an unlimited just amount of food and money that you can buy, which it isn't in most residence cases. So I wanted to make an app that tracked that. So me and a few friends made that. And after making it that summer, I ended up connecting with Serene, as she mentioned, and was an intern at Pixel Tree. And through both of these experiences, I really saw like the impact of mentorship. When I was working on that projects team with that software club, there were two upper year students who literally would just devote like whole days of their weekends to really helping us like understand problems and helping us figure out even just basic development things. And similarly, when I went to Pixel Tree, people like Serene and other people on the staff were really willing to help me learn. And I learned so much, even just basic things. And so that was a great experience. And then from that, I also ended up working at Autodesk, which is a mainly like computer graphics focused company. And I worked on one of their like project management softwares, which was really cool. And I worked with like some people from like Netflix and Disney, which was really interesting because I always like grew up really liking like TV, like Last of Us and Marvel. And then after that summer, I worked this previous summer as a software developer at Royal Bank. But I thought, like, what about if I had learned about tech in high school? Because a lot of the stuff that I had learned, it wasn't necessarily like more complicated, than like a grade 12 math class. I didn't think it like took some like special level of insight to understand, but I did think it took someone like guiding you through this process and some mentorship. So this is where you come in if you're an Alberta high school student. So I'm looking for around 4 to 5 Alberta high school students, and that's like grades 10 to 12. And basically you can apply to this program. It's like free, like I'm not going to charge for anything of this. I'm volunteering my time. And there's 3 questions on the application. And I'll send out the link to the application to all the people who registered, and also the recording of this to those people as well. And it's due next Monday. And then after that, I'll look at all the applications and let people know who I've selected to be part of the program. And I wish I could take like more students because last time we had quite like very, very good applicants. And I wish I could always take more, but sometimes it's really good to have like a smaller group and really focus my time on that for the level of commitment that I can give. And so, yeah, I would really encourage all of the people on this call to apply. I remember when I was thinking about joining that club that I mentioned in first year, I saw a lot of people who were on the club, and I thought, oh, like, can I really be on this club? Like, do I really deserve to be on this club? Because a lot of them had done like projects or knew how to code already. And I ended up applying, and I think that goes to show that you should like never self-select out of any like application process. So yeah, I would really encourage everyone on this call who's an Alberta high school student to apply. Or Serene, you could also apply if you would like. Yeah, and so now I have a little video that I will try to share with you guys. And yeah, Dan, for sure you can share future opportunities coming up at the end. But in the meantime, I will just try and share this video. You never know how sharing on Zoom is going to go. So let's see here. Okay.
Why is it experience?
Yes. Okay, great. I think we've got this. And then I will share this. Okay, great. And so we'll just watch this video. These are the few students who took it last time. I should just say disclaimer that one of the students did send in a video, but there were some like file issues with it. So I didn't get to including her. But yeah, let's watch this video and let me know if you can't hear it or have other like technical issues. Yeah.
My ASIT experience was honestly more fun than I initially thought. I had the idea that I would finish the program with a cool little app and a bright little spot on my resume. But looking back, honestly, like every little thing, every little step we did helped me and made me happy to have done the program. Learning new code and new programs was a given, but making new friends to connect with, work and argue with, and eventually actually hang out with wasn't. This program gave me memories I won't forget and lessons in everything from public speaking to JavaScript libraries to how to learn new code in the first place.
My experience at ASIT was an eye-opener and something that showed me what it's like to be in the software development world. It was hard, challenging, well, even infuriating, but Jack was there the whole time. He offered us tutorials when we struggled, took in everyone's ideas, really taught us the core fundamentals such as design thinking process, and always was pushing us to do our best.
Hi, my name is Rameza, and I was one of the high school students participating in the ASIT program in 2022. If I could describe my ASIT experience in one word, it would definitely be invaluable, because I was able to work along with other ambitious high school students under the mentorship of Jack, who was a limitless facet of knowledge during my time in the program. During my time in the program, I learned in-demand technologies such as React, and also learned how to use platforms like Slack, which tremendously helped me when I acquired an internship later on in the summer, which I feel was due to my participants in the ASIT program.
Okay, thank you for watching that, everyone. And Rumeza, I had to laugh when you said limitless facet of knowledge, because I'm not sure if I would agree with that, but thank you for that kind compliment. So now I'll just open it up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to like unmute or just like throw them in the chat, and we'll give that the good old at least 7 seconds if anyone has any questions. Good.
What are you guys going to build this year?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go through with the team, and we'll see. Usually I like kind of ask the team what they're thinking of and then kind of guide it that way. Maybe we'll continue building off the idea we had last year with the calendar aggregator. Yeah, we'll see. When do you select?
Cool.
Yeah, when do you select students for the program? So I'm gonna select students when after the applications close, so probably in like a few days after that. So I said I'd close applications on the 6th, so probably you could like hear on that like Wednesday, so probably around like the 8th you'll hear, and then this program will run until the end of your school year, and then at the end we'll have some type of presentation, hopefully in person. This program is open to any Alberta high school student. So if it just so happens that every student's in the same area, we will have it in person, but if not, then we can do it online. What is the time commitment? Yes. You know, you think I would have included that in this. So thank you for asking that, Dan. But the time commitments, usually we do like an hour meeting kind of every week. So that would be the time commitment in terms of meeting, and then as much time as you want to put into it. Other than that, ideally it'd be good to have like kind of 5 hours a week to work on it at least. So call it like 6 hours, 5 hours a week. Yeah. And some weeks are like more than others too. So, you know, if it's exams and you're super busy, that's definitely okay. And I'll be checking in every week, doing like one-on-ones with the people who are in the program to make sure that everyone's at a good capacity. Yeah. Is it all online? Yeah, so we're gonna be doing it all online because I'm currently located in Ontario. And also, since it's open to anyone in Alberta, people could be from anywhere in Alberta. And so it will be all online. Like I said, the final presentation, maybe we'll do that in person, or maybe there will be like some opportunity if I'm back in Calgary and if other people are in Calgary, or if I'm somewhere else in Alberta to meet up. But the main program will be all online. Yeah. And you don't need any special software or hardware to participate. If you're on this call, I'm assuming you have a computer that can handle Zoom. So that's enough for the program. Just a computer with access to internet really is the only one. What platforms do you use? We use last year we used a mixture of Python, which Ramisa was very keen on using, which was great in the end, and JavaScript. In terms of languages, I'd be open to using other ones as well. But most of my experience is in Java with a little bit of Ruby and Python. So probably looking at something like that for the application. Yeah. Do we need any prior language? Yeah, so you don't need any prior experience to join this program. I'll take things like all the way from the basics of like how to like not to type on a keyboard, but like pretty close to that. And I'll try and customize it to the level of the group. So if you guys all know a language really well already, which isn't required at all, then that'll mean that we'll just start at like a different level. But if some people are a bit like earlier in their journey, then I'll provide like more support to them and make the other parts of the program more challenging. What is the most challenging part of the program? I would say the most challenging part of the program is that surprisingly, it involves quite a bit of reading. I guess I wouldn't say quite a bit of reading, but I would say that you need to be comfortable taking your time and being patient with yourself, because a lot of times it can be frustrating when you're trying to learn something, and especially with coding, because you'll get errors and try and Google them and you may not know where to go, but hopefully that's where I'm there to help point you in the right direction. What are the timings of the meetings? So we'll set that up at a time that works for everyone when all the people are selected. So we'll work that out. Last cohort, we had someone on the team who was a triathlete, and so they we like worked around their schedule and like coordinated meetings. So as long as you have like at least an hour and a bit in your week that's free, hopefully, I'm sure you guys have more than that, but hopefully you have more than that, then we can find a time that like works for everyone. So we'll schedule the meetings once the program starts. How long or when will be expected to complete a project? Yeah, so we'll be finishing your project around when you guys finish school. So like end of June, I believe, is when most high school students finish school, beginning of July. Someone correct me if that's wrong. When you're in university, you kind of forget those things. But yeah, that's when we'll be finishing the project and expected to complete it. Yeah. And hopefully the ideal version is that people end up using this project, or we use it in like future versions of ASIT, and we'll definitely like promote it. So yeah. And thanks for all your questions, everyone. They're really good. So many things to mention. Oh, and Dan says all students accepted in this program will be eligible for free LinkedIn course. Excellent. So we'd start working on the project pretty much when you find out like you get accepted. So around the 8th, we'll probably take like a week to set up the meetings, and then meet that week, do introduction, and I'll lay out more details about the program then. I'll also, like I said, if depending on the skill level of the people, if some people are more skilled, if the group is more skilled, then maybe we dive right into the project. But if the group is still learning more about software, then we will then we will like do some more tutorials and learning before we actually start coming up with projects, ideas. And that's another thing that we'll be doing in this program, is talking about like how to come up with product ideas, and how to think about that. Yeah. Also, Dan, if you wanted to hop on, if anyone has any questions, maybe just hold them for a moment. But yeah, Dan, if you just want to talk about any future opportunities now, that'd be good, I think.
Cool. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. So yeah, I said free LinkedIn course. I meant to say free LinkedIn courses. Not a very good typist. So you know, to complement your programming, Jack, if you see any like leadership courses or team dynamic courses in LinkedIn, please let me know, and we can facilitate that for the students. In addition, I'm working with a couple of different groups in Calgary, where we're going to be looking for other student volunteers to be a part of a post-secondary high school student matchup that is going to be starting in a couple of weeks. The intent there will be more of a business and marketing standpoint. More or less, that project is going to be learning about what makes a good employer, attractive to youth, and able to retain local talent from a student perspective. So that'll be interesting. And the growing in ICT internship opportunities are growing. So it's really going to be important for students that are in this program. If the project doesn't end until June, but you want to level up your resume, it's important that when you're in this program, you're kind of leveling up your resume as you go through, because all the different, let's call them modules that Jack puts you through, are attractive modules to employers for students that can articulate them in an interview. And you can actually level up your resume as you're going through the program. That's, I think, my shtick right now.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, no, and like Dan said, we'll probably be doing some, last year I called them like side quests, to learn more about the technologies, so that when we go to build our main project, you have all the learnings there, so you can add those to your resumes as well, which I think are good for any future internships. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any more questions, anyone, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll give it another minute, and then yeah. Okay, I waited the approved 7 seconds, so I think we'll call that a minute. And if you have any more questions, yeah, feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, I'll be sending out the link to apply to everyone who registered for this. So if you didn't register and somehow got on here, you can also find it on our LinkedIn, which is Alberta Students in Technology, or like, yeah, however you got the link. Also reach out for the application there. And so I will I'll be sending it out there. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. Really great to see familiar faces and new people as well. So yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone. See you. Bye.